If the number on the scale can ruin your entire day, this video is for you. I want to help you stop letting the scale and the number on it define your worth so we can truly use it as a tool, not a tormentor. Because I see this so often, the scale getting the say in how you feel about yourself, how you dress, what you eat, what you decide to do, what not to do, your worth, your self-confidence. When in reality, the scale should never have that much say or power over you. Hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Lainey and I help women and men, but mostly women, who want to look strong and feel strong, building muscle and shaping your dream body, losing body fat in a sustainable way, building muscle without looking bulky, learning how to fuel their body for performance and physique, developing a confidence and disciplined mindset through fitness without giving up the life that they love. It doesn't matter results that you get. If you feel miserable and you can't keep it up, those results, they ain't worth it and they ain't sticking. Pause while my boyfriend pulls out with his loud sports car. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background and just to relate with you guys, there was a point in time, a long time, where the scale had the biggest chokehold over me. When I was first getting into my fitness journey over a decade ago, because of diet culture and magazines and everything we'd see, I thought that the goal was to weigh as little as possible, to be as small as possible, to have, the thigh gap and as little body fat, as shriveled and tiny as I possibly could be, because that's what beauty and what worth looked like. So whenever I would step on the scale and I would see a certain number, I would change how I felt about myself, what I wanted to wear, how I would eat that day, how I would exercise, all because of that number. And I didn't understand, number one, how bad that was, but number two, how to actually use that scale as a helpful tool, because I was using it very incorrectly and in a kind of harmful way to my mental and then eventually to my physical health. And it didn't matter how I actually looked, how I felt, how my workouts were, how anything else was going in life. If that number didn't reflect what I wanted to see or as small as I wanted it to be, nothing else mattered. I did not feel worthy or good about myself. I'm sure you guys can, number one, hear that that's a problem, but maybe you hear that and you kind of say, yeah, I kind of do that too. You are not alone. It is not your fault. Diet culture and society, and so many of us have grown up with it, and it can feel so helpless and so constricting. My goal by the end of this video is to help you move through that, give you tools and give you mindsets and give you strategies to break the chains that the scale has over you. Especially if your goal is to be fit and strong and healthy, I don't want that scale to be the thing that holds you back from attaining that. Now, what I'm going to share here is what I use to be able to help women heal their relationship with the scale and finally build those toned and healthy bodies that they've been dreaming of. Because here's the truth. The scale is not the full story. That is not the biggest thing that I am looking at when I am judging progress when it comes to a client or myself. And first, I need to show you something that I wish someone had shown me years ago. I wish that someone had taken younger me and she just grabbed her by the shoulders and she said, girl, I need you to look at these two photos, because the dream bodies that I was looking at, they were defined and they had muscle and they looked toned and they looked lean and strong and fit and all those words that we use, right? And I would look at a picture of myself. So this is what I would look like then. And I thought, restriction and cardio and all those things, weighing less, I thought that was a goal, losing all the body fat. But if someone had taken the bodies that I was wanting and the body of what I looked like, and someone took me and they said, hey, the difference here, the biggest difference is not the body fat. Especially when I would see all these girls that were toned and fit and eating way more food than I was eating and looking way leaner than I looked, and I didn't get it. The thing was muscle. These women spent time intentionally building muscle, which also intentionally built their metabolism. So their body had more muscle to be defined and look toned, and they also had a faster metabolism to eat more food and look better than the girl who was focused on losing fat and restricting and weighing less and eating as little as possible and wondering why she had to eat so little unless she gained body fat. And I want to show you something even cooler. So both of these photos, I weigh the same. I weigh the exact same in both of these photos. The difference is muscle. And the reason that this is because muscle is more dense than fat. It does not weigh more. A pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat, but the muscle is going to be more compact and look smaller. So that is why I can weigh the same in both of these photos, but be much smaller here because more of my body, a higher percentage is muscle, which is more compact. Versus here, I have way less muscle, so much more body fat to make up that total weight that I weigh at the seam. So especially to the women who know that their dream body has more muscle than they already have, they know they need to build muscle, but they are so scared of putting on weight and seeing that scale go up. I promise you, that is the way to get to your dream body. And I want to tell you why your brain is going to stop you if that is the situation that you are in. If you are like me, and when I would previously gain weight, when I was in my fitness journey, and I would restrict and do cardio, and then I would lose my mind, and I would feel too restricted, and I would need to rebel, and I would overeat, and I would self-sabotage, and I would gain weight, and I would do the whole yo-yo diet all over again. When that would happen, my brain saw I gain weight, I look worse, away from my goal, and it's bad. If we are intentionally gaining weight by gaining muscle, we know that it's different, but our brain can still step on that scale and have that emotional reaction the way that it did before. But what I need you to remind yourself of, that was not intentional, and those actions led you to gaining body fat. These actions that you are taking are to specifically get you to gain muscle. And I can make a whole other video about how we can gain, lean muscle if we want to. Let me know in the comments below what else you'd like to see. But if we are taking actions to gain muscle, and that is why that scale is slowly and strategically going up, that is a different story. And we need to be able to get our brain to understand it can go up for different reasons and have different results. Just because that was the first time that we had an experience with that does not mean that will be the only time and the only way that the scale will go up. That is not going to be our only outcome. And I wanted to make sure that I could explain all of this first, because understanding all of this, although it took me way longer than I wish that it would have, this is what really helped me not only heal the relationship with the scale, but finally get a body that I feel so confident in. All right, we feel good with that? Okay, next, I want to talk about what not to do when we're working to heal our relationship with the scale. Number one, I do not want you to weigh in every single day and expect that every single day the weight is going to be less or the exact same. That is not how your body works. I hate to break it to you. We will get to the science of that later. I also do not want you to use the scale as your only progress metric of you saying, if the scale went down, I made progress. If it didn't go up, I made progress. If it went up, I did not make progress. That is not the only measure of progress. It is far from it. I have clients who we do not use the scale, we take a break from it, and we're still able to see progress because there's way more things that we could pay attention to that help us understand that we're moving in the right direction. And then I don't want you to think that it's the exact same for everybody. How your body changes, your relationship is very different, right? So you are in your own personal body and your own personal journey. So let's talk a little bit more about those numbers that we're gonna see. Because if you have consistently weighed yourself, you would have noticed that sometimes you gain a pound, sometimes you lose 2 pounds, and you gain 3, and then you lose 1, and then you gain 2, and then you lose 2. And it's never gonna be the exact same. Your body fluctuates. We are not robots. There's lots of different stimuluses and things going on that's gonna change the scale to be different. Now, we can take that data, the change, the fluctuation, and we can use it as information to adjust something if we want, or sometimes we just take it, we know it, we took that number with a grain of salt, we knew the reasoning for it, we just moved on, right? So let's talk about the different reasons that would cause that scale to have those fluctuations, which is very, very normal, especially for our female bodies. So the first reason that we could have some fluctuations or see the scale go up, that is not just fat gain, would be your sodium intake. Even just one meal, like think you go out to eat, and then you gain a pound the next day. You didn't actually gain a pound of body fat. It's very unlikely that you did that. You likely are holding a good bit of water. If you eat more sodium, water follows salt. You have more salt in your body, you hold more water in your body. That's how that works. So the thing is to drink extra water to flush it out, maybe sweat it out. Sweating is one of the three ways that we detoxify. Poopy sweat, super cute. Gonna help with that. Get rid of the extra water retention that you're holding, and also just getting right back to your normal plan and letting your body do its thing and process it. And depending on the person, depending on the sodium, depending on a lot of variables, the scale could go up like 1 to maybe 5 pounds overnight just from that additional fluid retention. So maybe for an example, like you went and had sushi, like with soy sauce and stuff, maybe you had Chipotle, both are notoriously high in sodium, and the next morning you're up like 2 pounds. You didn't gain 2 pounds of body fat, you're holding 2 pounds of water. Maybe some other variables, such as inflammation. especially from a hard workout. This is something I always look at. If I see a client's scale weight is up, I look at when's the last time that they trained legs, especially if they're one of my clients that I know train really freaking hard, like we need to be able to really change our bodies. When we have a workout, we are doing damage to those muscle tissues. You guys know this, right? With the damage, there is inflammation that comes up that is part of the recovery process. There's the inflammation, it brings all the things that heals it, and then it clears out. But with the inflammation, that is going to cause the scale to be up a little bit, especially if we just train your legs, anything in your lower body, which are very big muscles. So if you are a little bit sore from a workout or a lot of it sore, I would not be surprised if the scale is up 1, 2, 3, maybe a little bit more pounds from that inflammation. This inflammation response is very normal. It's just a part of the process. It caused a temporary water retention that is going to be cleared out as we are allowing that recovery process to happen. So especially if you lifted heavier, you did more reps, you hit a PR, you changed your workout program, which is a whole new set of stimulus that your body's got to figure out how to recover from, you can expect to see the scale up a little bit with that fluctuation due to the inflammation. Third reason could be increased food volume. Even if it's still within your calories or your macros, it's still more physical food which has mass that is in your system, especially if you ate it a little bit later, you are stepping on the scale. The scale is not just measuring body fat, it is measuring everything. It's measuring your hair, if you're wearing clothes, if you have additional food volume in your system. There is physical weight to that food that is sitting in your digestive tract and hasn't yet gotten broken down and eliminated. Especially if you are reverse dieting or carb cycling, doing a refeed, just hitting your fiber goal, all of which are great things. And they could cause the scale to rise, but it's not fat gain. It's food weight. And then kind of related to that, the fourth reason could be your digestive timing and your bowel movements. Yes, we're gonna go there. Especially if you haven't gone to the bathroom in a day or two, that waste is still sitting in your system. So what I think is really helpful is checking your digestive patterns, your bowel movements, along with your weigh-ins. So then you can really start to see how delayed or missed bowel movements can affect that scale weight, and you can attribute it to that. And then maybe do something about it if it's happening a lot. And now this fifth one is just for my ladies. If we have a menstrual cycle, depending on where we are at in our phase, our weight is more than likely going to change. Estrogen and progesterone, which are two of our female sex hormones, they're going to affect water retention. So most women are going to retain 1 to up to 5 pounds of water additional in their luteal phase, which is about 7 to 10 days before their period. So about that week leading up to your period, it is very normal to see that scale start to creep up. An important note here, this is not a sign that something is wrong. It's normal and it's an expected part of your cycle. One of the many benefits of being a woman, am I right, ladies? So I would recommend being able to track where you're at in your cycle and understanding how that works. Let me know if we would like a video understanding how your menstrual cycle works and how that affects your health and fitness journey, and being able to understand where you're at in that to help you accurately gauge your progress. Because if you're seeing the scale come up and you're a week before your period, if we can attribute it to that versus thinking that we gained body fat, probably gonna be in a much better spot. Sixth reason is going to be glycogen storage, especially after consuming more carbs. Now, this is something that I chat through very often with clients going through a reverse diet as someone who was previously really restricting their calorie and their carb intake. So carbs, when we eat them, they are stored in the form of glycogen in your muscle cells and your liver, different places, but especially your muscle cells. And for every 1 gram of glycogen, your body's going to hold 3 to 4 grams of water with it. So if you were not eating enough carbs, and you start to reverse diet, you start to eat more and you're eating enough, your body did not have enough to store. It had to scrape by with the little bits you were giving it. It finally has enough to store it like it was meant to. This should happen. Your body is going to finally be able to store carbs as glycogen in your muscles with the 3 to 4 grams of water for every 1 gram of glycogen. Now this is going to partially make your muscles pop and look a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller, which is great. Who doesn't want a little bit more muscle definition without having to build any more muscle? But it is also going to cause the scale to go up because that all has mass. So if we are adding more carbs, we are going to be able to store more glycogen, a little bit more water within the muscles as well, and we are going to see the scale come up. But this is also going to help you look leaner, your muscles look fuller and more defined, and be better fueled for your workouts. I see no negatives here. So I will take those couple of pounds extra any day. Number 7 is going to be hydration changes. So dehydration from travel, alcohol, high caffeine intake, just slacken on your water, could drop the scale temporarily because we are not holding on to water, but we are not meant to be dehydrated. We are not going to function well. None of our systems, your brain, your muscles, your digestive system, nothing is functioning well when we are dehydrated. It is essential to be properly hydrated, to be a normal functioning human. So if the scale drops from that, we don't necessarily want to celebrate that. That's not fat loss, that's being dehydrated. We want to address that. So rehydrating could cause the scale to spike back up, which again is not a bad thing. We don't necessarily care about the number on the scale. We care about how your body looks and feels, and then the number is just the number that we end up at. So I would just encourage you, stay on top of your hydration, so we're not seeing these crazy fluctuations in how the scale looks or how we feel or how we look. The next thing could be poor sleep and or high stress. Both are going to increase cortisol, which is our stress hormone, which can cause fluid retention and inflammation. Cortisol is like Goldilocks for inflammation. Too little cortisol or too much can cause that. So we do want to make sure that's in a good place. A little bit of stress ain't a bad thing. A little bit of cortisol, absolutely necessary. So even one night of bad sleep, you guys, can lead to water retention and a scale jump, let alone messing with your cravings, your hunger signals, a lot of things, guys. Sleep is so important. So this is why the scale does not just reflect what you ate. It reflects how well your body is recovering and regulating too. So to wrap up all this science chat, most daily weight changes are going to be water, waste, or hormone related, not fat. Fat gain requires a consistent surplus of 3,500 calories additional over top of your maintenance to be able to put on a pound of fat. So a 3-pound overnight jump is very, very unlikely that it is 3 pounds of body fat. It's just your physiology doing its thing. This is why it is so important to understand and to monitor your biofeedback and to be able to be consistent with your intake, with your water, with your sleep as much as possible, helping your body function and regulate as best as it can. And it also helps when we're seeing these changes to be able to know what we can attribute it to. So when we're obsessing over the day-to-day scale weight, we're often obsessing over fluctuations, not actually changes in your body composition. It's kind of like judging a book by like one sentence on one page of it. So I think, in my opinion at least, it is okay and it's a great tool to use, but it should never be the thing that defines your progress or your self-worth. Okay, so next I want to get into some practical tools that we can use as we are working to improve our relationship with the scale, alongside all the information that we've just chatted through. Because I do think that education is power when it comes to our fitness journey. So I want to give you a couple of practical psychology-backed tools that you guys can use to help you emotionally detach from those numbers that we see on the scale. Okay, tool number one is going to be, we're going to detox the data. So this is taking a week or two off of weighing yourself. We are just working on consistency with getting your food, getting your water, getting your sleep, getting your workout, steps, managing stress, getting in the rhythm of this lifestyle that we have created. Let your body respond and do its thing. If we see fluctuations, we're not necessarily, if we're hitting all the targets, we're not going to change anything, right? We're not going to react to those fluctuations. So let's just get rid of that if that's going to make you want to react to those things. Let's just get in the routine, get in the flow, get rid of that scale. We can bring it back in when we're at a place where we feel good with progress, step back on that scale and be able to recognize this is just what my body weighs at this point. The number did not define me saying, yes, I feel good in my body. You feel good in your body, and then you see, okay, this is just the number where we're at. And then what I would absolutely recommend to be able to track progress is you could do progress photos, track your weights and your progressions in the gym, track your digestion, all of these things, your recovery, your sleep, all these things like I've just talked about, and be able to monitor and get in that sweet spot with those. So we're gonna take 1, 2, maybe longer weeks and take a break from weighing ourselves. And instead, we're gonna focus on how we feel and how our progress photos are looking and how our clothes are fitting, our relationship with food, managing our stress better, seeing progress in the gym, being able to be consistent. Those are all the wins that I would care far more over than what that scale says. Because if the scale would be exactly how you want it to look, but everything else was a mess, probably not gonna be in a good spot. The scale doesn't matter anymore. In that time where you're taking a break from the scale, I want you to be able to keep track of those things that really do make more of an impact, so we can work to reset that emotional attachment that you have to the number on the scale and then really show you what matters outside of that number. Okay, tool number 2 is going to be tracking your wins and not your weight. And in my opinion, I feel like a lot of us need to do better at this, of actually celebrating our wins and giving ourselves credit. I feel like very high achieving, high performing individuals will hit a goal and be like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Instead of actually being able to celebrate the freaking wins that you just got. So I want you to be able to create a wins list each week. Every time I do check-ins with my clients, I ask them to tell me what wins happened. Did you hit all your workouts? Maybe you hit a PR and an exercise that you've been really working towards. Maybe you hit your protein every day that week. Maybe you hit your water goal. You got your steps. you got in bed at a reasonable time and you didn't stay up scrolling TikTok. Those are all wins, big or little. I want you to celebrate those. I want you to give yourself credit for it. You are putting in the freaking work and showing up for yourself, and if you just dismiss it, why is that going to make you want to do it again? If every time you do something, someone tells you, good job, good job, good job, you're going to want to keep getting that praise, versus if they never tell you that you're doing a good job, it's a little harder to feel motivated to keep wanting to do it. So all of these things that we are tracking wins of, those are what's really creating momentum for us, and we need to be able to acknowledge those and make a big deal out of them, because that's what's actually helping us get and maintain progress. Okay, tool number 3 is we are going to zoom out. Instead of tracking every single day on the scale, we want to look at weekly averages. So I typically recommend that clients get 3 weights during the week. And honestly, if you know that you just ate out last night, you slept like crap, you're crazy inflamed, and you know that number is gonna bother you a little bit, you know it's a fluctuation, you don't gotta step on that scale. Because what we are doing, if we're getting a couple of them throughout the week, is we are accounting for some fluctuations to try to find that average. Because if you just step on that scale one day a week, and it was after you hit legs, you didn't sleep very well, you've been really stressed, you haven't gone to the bathroom in 3 days, I can guarantee you that scale is gonna be up. And especially if we don't understand to detach from those, that's gonna cause a lot of stress. But if we weren't getting other data points when those things weren't a variable, you don't actually know where it is at. So that data is not going to be very helpful for you being able to continue to make adjustments should you need to respond to things that actually make sense. So we're not gonna just fixate on single weigh-ins, and we're going to pair that a couple of times throughout the week to account for those fluctuations with our progress photos, tracking your digestion, tracking how you feel, how your workouts feel, all of those biofeedback things that we just talked through. I want you to remind yourself that fat loss and healing is not linear. Progress, we're looking at trends over time, not just one moment. It's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, it's gonna stay stagnant, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go back down, it's gonna keep changing, right? So if we look at every little day and we need those to look a certain way versus looking at the overall trends and patterns, we're gonna cause ourselves a lot more stress than we need to. Okay, tool number 4 is we are going to work on our response for what we are going to do when the scale goes up. So here's what I say to myself, what I have my clients say, and what you can do too. So if we are going to step on the scale and you are working on improving your relationship with it, before you step on, I want you to run through those things in your head that I was talking about earlier that could cause some fluctuations. Did I just hit legs a day or two ago? Am I sore? Did I not sleep very well? Have I not gone to the bathroom yet? Did I eat out last night? Have I not been drinking my water? Have I been extra stressed? Are there different things that are going on that could cause it to go up? Being able to be better in tune with your body and your actions. So that when we step on that scale, if we see a fluctuation, we know what to attribute it to. Our brain doesn't automatically go, it's body fat. We can very clearly say, I slept like crap, my digestion is a mess. That is what I need to work on. It also helps us understand, what do I need to address to be able to get my body to get back to baseline instead of freaking out over imaginary fat gain. And then when you step on that scale, if it goes up and we are attributing it to those things, or even if you don't know yet what to be able to attribute it to, what I want you to tell yourself is some variation of this. I trust my body. I trust my consistency. This is not fat gain. This is a fluctuation. I'm doing the work and my results are coming. I want you to be able to repeat something like that in your mind to be able to give you that peace of mind that you were looking for, that number does not signify that what you are doing is not working. It does not signify that you're gaining body fat. It signifies that your body is a human body, not a robot that is responding to different things, and that we understand that those fluctuations are going to occur and they are not going to ruin our day or how we feel about ourselves. Now I want to leave you guys with this last thought. You are not failing if the scale goes up. The scale does not tell you how good you are, your worth, how beautiful you are, how important that you are, what you are good at, why people love you so much, all the work that you've been putting in, or how worthy that you are of all of the results that you are working towards. The scale is a piece of data. It is not everything, and it is never meant to be the sole driver of what you decide to do in your fitness journey or your worth in yourself. I hope that this video was helpful and is able to be a small piece of you working on this relationship with yourself and the scale and getting to a point where you have built this body and this mindset and this health and fitness focused lifestyle that you are absolutely obsessed with and so happy with, regardless of whatever the heck that number on that scale looks like. If this video helped you, and if you thought of someone who would maybe benefit from it too, please send it to them. I am on a mission to help women break up with the scale so they can finally fall truly in love with themselves and their fitness journey. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.